What's going on, Arkansas? Happy Saturday evening. Hopefully everybody's doing okay tonight. Let me go over a quick update, kind of going over what to expect tonight, tomorrow, Monday. We'll give this just a moment. We're just now kicking into gear, it looks like. So we do have severe weather chances tonight. We do have severe weather chances tomorrow, also Sunday. And then we do have severe weather chances again on Monday. And then we might have them again on Tuesday. So we've got a lot to unpack and go over here. I've got the radar pulled up. We'll start with that. Before we get into that, whether you're watching this on live or playback, this feed is sponsored by Air Masters of Arkansas, 1312 Cleaning and Restoration, Jam Mart, Jody's Auto Service Center, and Arkansas Online Lawyer. Very appreciative of all my sponsors for promoting me and what I do, and for allowing me to do this. I couldn't do this without them. So if you want to support me, you can support those local companies. Looking at the radar, Arkansas is mostly clear right now. We do have a storm in far southeast Arkansas that is moving southeast away from the state towards Mississippi and into northeast Louisiana. But my main focus is on the activity here in Oklahoma and North Texas. This storm has produced tornadoes today already. The one near Ada, southeast of Oklahoma City, and then we've got all kinds of nasty storms down here in North Texas, southern Oklahoma near Dallas. We can actually zoom in here on the Dallas radar and take a look at this. These storms to the south are eventually, what I was trying to get at with that statement is that all of this activity is going to be moving east tonight. So eventually that's going to move into Arkansas. I know that right now the radar is kind of bleak. There's not a whole lot going on, which was expected. Everything has kind of trended into the evening, and things are sort of on track. We've had a couple of storms in South Arkansas today, and that's really it. I do want to show you what the latest high resolution data looks like for tonight and what storm behavior might look like, so you know what to expect. So this is not going to be perfect. It's just a model, but it does a good job sometimes, and you can see it picking up on that activity there in North Texas and southern Oklahoma. And this moves this into Arkansas later this evening. So this is around 10 p.m. We'll just say between 9 and 11. This has activity moving into southwest Arkansas, west central Arkansas near Fort Smith. You might get some rain, some storms. I really thought northwest Arkansas would catch this initial round. The models earlier in the day had that, and it's not there anymore. But if you're looking for rainfall in northwest Arkansas, don't panic just yet. This activity will move into southern and southwest and maybe parts of central Arkansas through the night hours. This is around 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., and you can see that activity continuing in southern and southeast Arkansas. So hopefully when everybody's going to bed, going to sleep, we're having this activity go on. Hopefully it's not too bad. I would expect this to be probably pretty noisy, plenty of rain, thunder, and maybe some strong winds and hail. And that continues east into Mississippi. We can have additional developments overnight. This is around 3 a.m. tonight, and you can see more stuff forming and moving into western Arkansas late tonight. That 3 a.m. special that we all know and love. Super frustrating, but it's just part of it here. And that moves into western Arkansas in the overnight hours. This is at 4 a.m. when most of us are likely sleeping, or some of you are getting up maybe for work or what have you. But this continues, from west to east, out of western Arkansas towards central Arkansas. I think it's going to have, I don't expect this to just be crazy intense or strong, but I can't rule out a strong thunderstorm out of that. And this continues into the morning hours. This is around 7 to 8 a.m. You can see activity still ongoing in western Arkansas. And this continues east into central Arkansas in the morning to late morning hours. This is around 10 a.m. And this continues, I feel like I say this continues a lot, but we could have additional activity tomorrow through the early lunch hours. This is for Sunday. This is the severe weather forecast for Sunday, so May 18th. The entire state is highlighted from the National Weather Service. The western half of the state is under a slight risk, a level 2 of 5 for severe weather. And we're talking about Sunday, not today. We've already spoke about today. So this is some of the latest data for Sunday. We already have touched on Sunday a little bit, but we could have more activity on Sunday evening. So we've already talked about tonight. We've talked about Sunday morning. We've talked about Sunday kind of midday. There might be a pause tomorrow in the early to mid-afternoon hours before more storms move in tomorrow evening. This is at 6 p.m. You can see data suggesting storms scattered, possible in western Arkansas, where that higher risk for severe weather is tomorrow. When I say higher, I mean it's a lower risk, but locally higher than the rest of the state. And this continues into the evening hours. Southwest Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. This is tomorrow evening, so Sunday around 9, 10, 11 o'clock. So another after dark event with more storms moving in. And this is pretty aggressive with rain and storms. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if it'll be that widespread. But from I-40 south tomorrow night, midnight, 1, 2 a.m., we've got quite a bit of activity going on south of I-40 and some stuff in northern Arkansas too, northeast Arkansas. It looks like maybe rain, some rumbles of thunder. As this activity is moving through, there's not a whole lot of storm fuel to work with. That's not the right. There's not a whole lot of storm fuel to work with late Sunday night. And you can see it's mostly blank across a large part of the state outside of eastern Arkansas, parts of south Arkansas, which leads me to believe that tomorrow night will mostly be rain and thunder, maybe some wind at times, but nothing too significant. And I think that's why the National Weather Service has a large chunk of the state at a level 1 of 5 severe weather risk for Sunday. So statewide, fairly low risk for severe weather tomorrow. And then before we come back to Saturday and Sunday, I do want to touch on Monday. Monday could have a locally higher risk for severe weather. This is for Monday, this coming Monday, of course. And I shared this on my Facebook page earlier today. This is machine learning guidance, probabilities, essentially data trying to tell us what it thinks the risk will be like on Monday when it comes to severe weather probabilities. And you can see we're tipping the scale in western Arkansas, northwest Arkansas, so Fort Smith area up to northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers, maybe over to Mountain Home and Harrison, that corner of the state, with a possibly an even higher risk west of us in Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, west central Missouri. The Hatch region is usually indicative of higher end severe weather days, large hail, strong winds, tornadoes, some possibly strong. Monday to me looks like it could be the real deal, and I'll go over why I think it's the real deal with you real quick before we touch on some questions. First and foremost, the system that we're dealing with, large upper level storm system, negative tilt trough, just about as classic as it gets for the month of May. Arkansas is located in a pretty rough spot for that. Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and so on. One of my favorite things to look for as a forecaster when it comes to tornadoes and severe weather in general, supercells, is the low-level jet. The red shading in western Arkansas, the western half of the state, you'll notice the red colors are much more present than in eastern Arkansas. It's almost non-existent. This is timed well, too, between that 4 and 6 p.m. hour, which leads me to believe that if any storms form here in Oklahoma and track east into eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas on Monday evening, Monday afternoon, they could be supercellular, which means there's a good opportunity for tornadoes, large hail, strong winds. So really focusing on western northwest Arkansas on Monday afternoon and Monday evening. I don't have a fancy model that shows you higher resolution data, but what I do have is one of my favorite models to show, and this is lightning flash density. And this is not the end-all solution, but I feel like this model does a good job sometimes of showing us thunderstorms developing in a region favorable for severe weather. And this does just that here in western Arkansas. I mean, you can see it here. That you can see the pink colorations, purples. That is the model picking up on stronger thunderstorm activity on Monday evening. Western Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, where conditions could be favorable for tornadoes. The tornado risk on Monday looks much higher than today, tomorrow. We'll talk about Tuesday later, but the tornado risk yesterday wasn't very high either. This will likely be the highest risk for tornadoes in this little stretch of severe weather days from a couple days ago through Tuesday. So I really want everybody to pay attention to the weather on Monday if you live in western Arkansas, the western half of the state. If you live in eastern Arkansas, probably okay. We'll watch it. That Tuesday might be more of your day, but the western half of the state really needs to watch the weather on Monday. Wow, that was a lot of words to spit out. So I'll kind of go over a brief synopsis with you real quick on what I've talked about, because I know some of you have likely joined late. We have storms right now in Oklahoma and Texas. I'm filming this. If you're watching this on playback, it is Saturday, May 17th at 7:01 p.m. We have storms in eastern Oklahoma moving east. We have storms in North Texas, Northeast Texas moving east. And some of this will impact Arkansas tonight, especially southwest and southern Arkansas. Some of it might make it into western Arkansas too, west central. And I cannot rule out severe weather tonight. It's very possible that when storms move in, they could have strong winds, hail, and I can't rule out a tornado either. As it stands right now in Arkansas, we're clear. We don't really have a whole lot going on outside of that activity in extreme southeast Arkansas. This is the latest data that I have, and you can see this activity moving into South Arkansas tonight. This is around 10 p.m., so I think between 7, 8, 9 o'clock, we'll start seeing these storms creep into southwest and west central, southwest Arkansas, and continue into the southern regions of the state through the night hours, possibly the very late night hours, with additional activity expected in western Arkansas overnight into the early morning hours of Sunday, and then we'll have additional chances for rain on Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. And then we just talked about Monday, so I feel like everyone's probably up to speed on Monday. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. It is, hopefully you guys like my screensaver on my computer. Give me just a second. Pull my radar back up. That's kind of what we're looking at. So a lot going on right now. It's just a busy pattern. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of where we're standing for the moment. Cleo Clayton says, are the storms going to be bad in DeWitt, Arkansas for tonight? I can't rule out a strong to severe thunderstorm. I think the risk isn't real high in southeast Arkansas, but you could certainly observe thunderstorms overnight tonight. Haley says, is this humidity what causes these storms flare up? Actually, don't know, honestly. So the humidity, the moisture in the air certainly helps our cases for severe weather. That doesn't mean that storms can't occur in environments with lower humidity values, lower dew points, lower moisture, but it certainly doesn't hurt, especially when it comes to tornadoes. We've had really, really nice weather today across most of the state. It's been nice, much needed break, but we're going to get our turn with storms tonight and tomorrow, and then again on Monday, and then possibly again on Tuesday as well. Heather, I think Izard County, for the most part, is going to avoid much issue tonight, but you could have more activity tomorrow. North Arkansas tomorrow evening. I wish I could go back and look at my my older chat. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys have probably asked questions that I've missed. I'm getting a lot of questions from out of state for some reason. Haley's asking about Pope County. Yeah, Pope County could get some storms this evening. It might be late tonight, well after dark. Depending on if the first round misses us, moving out of Oklahoma and Texas, it might be fairly late tonight, Haley. This is old data. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We just talked about it. You can see storms loading up here in Oklahoma late tonight. That's at midnight tonight in central and eastern Oklahoma, moving to the east. And this, like I said, that's at midnight. So that won't be well into Arkansas until after midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. Carissa says, can we assume you will go live with any tornado warnings we may receive? Yes, that's the plan. I will be around. However, for those of you who follow loyally and actually watch when I go live, I am planning on storm chasing tomorrow in Oklahoma with my friend Gabe Garfield. I have not been chasing once this season, and I think tomorrow is going to be the day that I try, unless I get nervous about the severe weather risk here in Arkansas tomorrow and stay home. But I'm considering taking the day off and going probably on my only storm chase this season. So if we have tornado warnings tomorrow evening, there's a chance that I might have to cover it from my phone in the car. So just a heads up. Shelly, I cannot rule out severe weather for you on Monday. I'm sorry, but it looks like the severe weather risk, much like for western Arkansas, could be pretty high. Lisa says, how is Van Buren County looking for tonight? We could have storms in that area, Lisa. Some of it might be late, well after dark, like in the middle of the night, along with additional activity tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. Brady, I don't think so. I don't know where the Arkansas Regional Softball Tournament is, but there's a chance that on Sunday afternoon we could kind of get a break before more activity pushes in the evening hours. Yep, thank you. I appreciate it. Marion County, North Central Arkansas, good tonight. Now, we just talked about that. Storms could move in late tonight, well after dark, maybe in the middle of the night or early Sunday morning. So, how about Scranton, Arkansas, says Jeremiah. Same thing. Storms late tonight, possibly even after midnight. If we miss that initial round that moves in out of Oklahoma and Texas, we could have more form well after dark into the early morning hours of Sunday. Conway, Faulkner County, yes, storms are possible this evening. If you miss it, the evening round tonight, we could have more storms well after midnight tonight and early Sunday morning in central Arkansas. Caitlin says, I just tuned in. How's Garland County looking for tonight? So Garland County is kind of an interesting situation because it's kind of sandwiched in between the two rounds. It's possible that Hot Springs, Garland County in general, will observe storms this evening, between that 8, 9, 10 p.m. hour, but then you could also get more activity late, 3, 4, 5 a.m., with stuff moving out of Oklahoma and whatnot. So 2 rounds are possible, but you're also in a spot where you might get missed by both. So we'll see. Excuse me, we'll see. Jeremiah, I have no idea, brother, if a tornado is going to hit a specific city. The tornado risk is pretty low tonight, though. I wish I had the ability to forecast a tornado for a city at a certain time. I would be a millionaire, but I can't. Marie says, will Northwest Arkansas get supercells on Monday? For sure. Unfortunately, in weather, there's never really a for sure, but it's very possible that western and northwestern Arkansas could see supercells on Monday, and that does include tornadoes. Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you, brother. Jarrett says, how about Northeast Arkansas? Jarrett, there's certainly not much of a severe weather risk tonight for that area, and again on Sunday. And Monday, it looks like you might avoid the worst of it as well, but that doesn't mean you won't see rain or storms the next few days in Northeast Arkansas. Gina says, what time frame is best to leave Branson for our trip home on Monday? Gina, I would leave earlier in the day and get out of Southwest Missouri. That way you don't have to deal with it. Kay Shelley's asking about Sharp County, Hardy, which is in Northeast Arkansas. Storms are possible tonight, especially well after dark, and then additional activity could occur on Sunday. You might get a break in the afternoon, and then again possible on Sunday evening too. So you guys can see, I'm going to point this out. The data has kind of went in waves on this today. This is tonight around 2 a.m. You can see the initial round moving through South Arkansas, dodging a large chunk of the state. But then we have another round of robust storms moving into western Arkansas, 1, 2, 3 a.m. Noisy. And that could eventually move into central Arkansas, north central Arkansas, between 3, 4 a.m. and linger into Sunday morning. Haley says, if the temperatures go down after sunset, does it decrease bad storms? So if you lose peak heating, sometimes it can have an impact, but there is enough juice, per se, available for storms to feed off of tonight. Carissa says, to be clear, tonight is a low tornado threat. Yes, the tornado threat is low tonight. It's low tomorrow. It goes up on Monday for western Arkansas. Selena says, what about Dirks, Arkansas? Dirks could observe this initial round in South Arkansas tonight. This is between 7 and 9 p.m. And then we'll see if anything else develops well after dark. You'll probably be asleep when that happens, but you might miss the late night round in Dirks, Southwest Arkansas. Take a few more questions here, guys, and then I'll probably round this up. Brandy says, I'm sorry, I'm just now joining. It's okay, Brandy. A lot of people join late. That's why it's available for playback. Brandy says, I'm sorry, I'm just now joining. Is anything for Johnson County? Yeah, likely well after dark, Brandy. It's possible that you miss the initial round that comes out of Texas and Oklahoma. We'll see. But there's stuff that will move in late tonight, like 2, 3, 4 a.m. for that area, for Johnson County, Pope County, Franklin, Logan, Yell, kind of that part of the state. I just moved to Mena. Curious, is this considered West Central? Vicky says. I do consider Mena to be West Central. If you get south of Mena towards DeQueen, Foreman, Texarkana, I consider that Southwest Arkansas. Candace is asking about Desha County. Storms are likely this evening in southeast, and southwest Arkansas. Jennifer says, anything for central Arkansas tonight? It is possible. You might miss the initial round in South Arkansas, but the additional rounds that move in well after dark between 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. could impact central Arkansas and into Sunday morning. Is it going to hit Mountain Home? There could be storms in Mountain Home late tonight, yes. low severe weather risk. Sheila says, what about Eureka? Yep, same in Eureka. Thunderstorms are likely tonight, especially well after dark, maybe even after midnight. Gary says, can you show radar for Sunday? Yeah, I can. Yeah, we've already looked at that, but we can do it again real quick. It's okay. So this is for Sunday, and you can see we have those storms that are moving through central Arkansas. This is what's moving in well after dark into western Arkansas, and that moves kind of east out of the state into Mississippi, into Tennessee. We could have some stuff going on midday Sunday. This is around lunchtime between 11 a.m. to noon. You can see there's scattered activity, showers, and some rumbles of thunder with the low severe weather risk with this. And then we could have additional activity forming out in Oklahoma. This is where I plan on chasing tomorrow, looking for tornadoes. And then we have more stuff developing in western Arkansas tomorrow evening between 4 and 6 p.m. And this continues off to the east. We have activity forming in southeast Oklahoma, North Texas that could impact South Arkansas. So Sunday night between 9, 10, 11, maybe even closer to midnight, activity could be quite widespread across the state, especially south of Interstate 40 and along the Arkansas-Missouri border. This is just a model. It's not a forecast. But what I want you to take from this activity and from the model data that I have just showed you is that we have potential for storms tonight, especially late tonight. We have potential for storms on Sunday morning, maybe Sunday midday before we kind of get a little bit of a break. And then more activity again on Sunday night into the late night hours. And then we're going to do this all over again on Monday with afternoon and evening stuff in western Arkansas, some which can be strong to severe. All right. We'll take one last look at radar, and then I'm signing off, guys, because we'll take a look at this. Looks like we have a storm that has just now formed near Prescott, Gurdon. Obviously not severe right now. It's a baby storm. We do have quite a bit of activity that we have talked about at length here in Oklahoma and Texas. And this isn't super far from Arkansas. This storm near Ada and McAllister, we'll have to watch this as it moves into Arkansas, along with the complex along the Red River in North Texas and South Oklahoma. And then we have this activity down here in Northeast Texas. So this activity is going to move east into Arkansas tonight within the next, few hours. Some of it could be strong to severe with a hail and wind risk and a low tornado concern. Once this moves through, we will likely have a reprieve before more stuff forms late tonight, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. That'll move through western Arkansas, eventually into central Arkansas in early Sunday morning hours before we go through our Sunday rain and storm chances. So, Shelly says, take a break, Zach. Thank you. Shelly, I think I will. If anybody has questions and you didn't see the video will be on my page. You can play it back. You can rewind and fast forward. I've covered everything from A to Z, Monday through Sunday. So hopefully you guys got the information that you needed. It's going to be a busy few days. I want to stress, though, before I get off, the severe weather risk on Monday could be legitimate. Not taking anything away from tonight or Sunday. It's just the severe weather risk isn't real high the next day or two. But on Monday, in western Arkansas, if everything goes to model and verification purposes, we could be looking at supercells, possibly tornadoes. Strong storms in general is what I want you to take from that. And then maybe again on Tuesday in eastern Arkansas. So really active pattern right now, guys. We're going to eventually get through this pattern and chill some, but it's busy right now. So I am going to try to get some rest time because I might have a late night tonight, and I do plan on storm chasing tomorrow in Oklahoma with my buddy Gabe Garfield. So I might be leaving early in the morning to go meet him in Oklahoma City so we can head to our target area, and then I might have a trip back tomorrow night to get ready for Monday because I'm going to be home for Monday because Arkansas looks like it could have some problems. So might be my only storm chase of the year. I have not seen a tornado yet this year, and I've seen a tornado every single year since 2018 or 2017, I think. So I got to keep the streak alive, and Oklahoma and Kansas this time of year is a good place to find some tornadoes. So thank you guys so much for